Hello everyone. Today we are discussing regarding the stone masonry. The masonry work which is constructed in stones is known as a stone masonry, where we are using the stones in the construction. Uses for the stone walls, foundations, columns, staircase, ornamental work like arches, facing wall, etc. Also, we will try to understand some technical terms and components. Natural bed, it is a horizontal unit or plane of stone which is known also as a course or a natural bed. Header, it is a full stone unit which is laid in such a way that its length is perpendicular to the face of the wall. Stretcher, it is that uh, its length is along or a parallel to the face of a wall. Corbel, it is the projecting stone work which is usually provided to serve as a support for roof truss, beam, weather shed, etc. Cornice, it is a course of stone provided at the top of the wall, generally constructed to dispose of the rainwater. So you can see this is the cornice is provided here also. Okay, so the shape is generally like this. It is a decorative course. Coping, it is laid at the top of the wall to protect the wall from rainwater, provided at the top of compound wall or parapet wall. So this is the construction of a stone as well, or sometimes it is a RCC nowadays. So a throating is provided here. So water which is falling on this coping, the slope is because of slope, so that is cut off here only. So that will not come on wall, surface of the wall. Weathering, the upper surface of the stone used for seal, cornice and coping is dressed in a sloping way so that the water may flow off easily. This is called as a weathering. Throating, a groove is provided on the underside of seal, cornice and coping so that rainwater can be discharged clear of the wall surface. Plinth, it is a projecting course provided at the ground level. Through stone, in a stone work, some stones are at regular intervals are placed right across the wall. Such stones are known as through stones. Now, if you see the stone masonry, it is divided into two parts, rubble masonry and ashlar masonry. In the rubble masonry, there are various types: coarse rubble masonry, uncoarse rubble masonry, random rubble masonry, dry rubble masonry, polygonal rubble masonry, flint rubble masonry. Then in ashlar masonry, ashlars fine, ashlars rough tooled, ashlars rock faced, ashlars chamfered, ashlars block in coarse masonry. So all these types are there in the stone masonry. So you can observe here the various types of stones masonries are given. So where we are going to study all this. So when the courses are present in the masonry, these particular courses, so these are called as a coarse rubble masonry, and when the courses are not present in that, or stones are laid randomly, that is called as a uncoarse rubble masonry. Then depending upon the finishing again, whether it is ashlar masonry or again in the stone masonry or in the rubble masonry, it is observed that this breaking of the joints. So all the joints you can that those should not come on exactly on each other. This is called as the breaking of joint. So if you see, if the joint is there exactly below that, the stone is laid, and again a joint will be there. So this is called as the breaking of the joint. So continuation of the joint. So that is avoided in the stone masonry. That is observed, and a good skilled supervisor or engineer, he will have the keen watch on this, whether the breaking of the joint is carried out by the mason or not. So, continue with the rubble masonry. In this type of construction, the stones of irregular size are used. They are obtained from quarry, are taken in use in same form, and or they are broken or shaped in a suitable sizes by means of a hammer as the work proceed. The strength of rubble masonry mainly depends on three factors: the quality of mortar, the use of long through stones at the frequent interval, and third one is the breaking of the joints. Remember, the coarse rubble masonry, this method of construction is the same as uncoarsed masonry, except that the courses varying from 30 to 45 centimeter thick, and all the courses are not same height. For the construction of this type of masonry, quoins are built first, and line is stretched between the tops of quoins, and travaing walling is then brought up to this level by using the different size of stones. This masonry is further divided into three categories: a coursed rubble masonry first sort, coursed rubble masonry second sort, coursed rubble masonry third sort. Okay. So, the quoins are at the corner, the stones are laid, those are called as a quoins, which are built first. In uncoursed rubble masonry, this is the roughest and cheapest form of the stone walling. In this type of masonry, the stones are used are of widely different sizes. This type of masonry is used for the construction of compound wall, godowns, garages, labor quarters, etc. It gives a increased strength and better appearance. So, you can see here uncoursed rubble masonry is there. The courses are not present. You can see the elevation and this particular cross section of that. Here you can observe the coursed rubble masonry where the courses are present. Where the courses are present here. But in uncoursed rubble masonry, no such courses are present. Random rubble masonry. In this type of rubble masonry, the stones of irregular size and shapes are used as shown in the figure. In this masonry, the stones are arranged so as to have the good appearance. To construct this type of masonry wall, more skill is required. Okay, you can see this random rubble masonry is required. In spite of the elevation is better, but the skill is required to construct such particular masonry. Dry rubble masonry. Dry rubble masonry is that rubble masonry made to courses in which mortar is not used in the joints. This type of construction is the cheapest and requires more skill in construction. This may be used for non-load bearing walls such as compound walls of etc. Polygonal rubble masonry. In this type of rubble masonry, the stones are hammer dressed, and stones selected for the face work are dressed in an irregular polygonal shape. Thus, the face joints are seen running in all directions. As the stone are irregular shape, it is difficult to adjust them with regard to stability and appearance of the course as a whole. So, more skill is required in the construction of this type of masonry. Okay, so you can see in the polygonal masonry, what is said that the faces of these stones are dressed and which are placed in the polygonal shape. So, you can see every particular stone, it is a polygon. Okay. So, you can see if you take any stone, it is surrounded by the stones like this. Okay. So, you can see the actual construction elevation of a constructed wall, which is a polygonal masonry. So, stone is dressed in like a polygon. Flint rubble masonry. In this type of rubble masonry, stones are used as flints, which are used irregularly shaped noodles of silica. The width and thickness vary from 80 mm to 150 mm, and length may vary from 150 mm to 300 mm. And they are extremely hard, but they are brittle, and therefore they break easily. This type of masonry is used at the place where the flints are available readily and economically. Okay, so this is the elevation and section of a flint rubble masonry. Ashlar masonry. In this type of construction, the square and rectangular block stones are used. The courses are not necessarily of same height. The height of stones varies from 250 mm to 300 mm. The length of stones should be at least equal to half that of the height. Different type of ashlar masonry are described in this section. So you can see this is a ashlar masonry is there, and you can observe the finishing of the these surfaces. These are dressed to a proper finishing, and also you can observe the breaking of the joints. Okay, ashlar fine masonry. In this type of ashlar masonry, the bed side faces are finely chisel dressed. The stones are arranged in a proper bond, and thickness of mortar joints does not exceed 3 mm. This type of construction gives perfectly smooth appearance, but it is costly in construction. Okay, so you can see a very fine tooled masonry is there. You can observe the joints are of very small size, and the elevation is very nice. Ashlar rough tooled masonry. In this type of ashlar masonry, the beds and sides are finely chiseled, but the face is made rough by means of tools. This strip about 25 mm wide and made of by means of a chisel is provided around the perimeter of every stone exposed for the view. The thickness of mortar joints does not exceed 6 mm. This type of masonry is also known as a Bastard masonry, Bastard ashlar masonry. Ashlar rock faced masonry. In this type of ashlar masonry, a strip of about 25 mm wide and made of by means of a chisel is provided around the perimeter of every stone exposed to for a view of in case of rough tooled ashlar, but the remaining portion of the face is left in the same form as received from the quarry. Only projection of this face known as brushing exceeding 80 mm are removed by the hammer. This type of construction gives massive appearance. Ashlar chamfered masonry. In this type of ashlar masonry, the strip is provided as a ashlar rock masonry, but it is chamfered or beveled at an angle 45° by means of a chisel for a depth about 25 mm. Another strip is then provided on the remaining expose the face of the stone. A neat appearance of the grooved joints is obtained with the help of this type of construction. Okay, you can see here the fine finished ashlar masonry looks like, and this is a chamfered ashlar chamfered masonry. Okay, the chamfers are provided in the joints. Ashlar block in course masonry. This type of ashlar masonry occupies an intermediate position between the rubble masonry and ashlar masonry. The face of the stone is generally hammer dressed, and thickness of the mortar joints does not exceed 6 mm. Depth of the courses are varies from 200 mm to 300 mm. This type of construction is used for heavy engineering works such as retaining wall, sea wall, etc. It may be adapted for theatre, bridge, railway station, etc. So, in the stone masonry, friends, all these types we have discussed, but you can say a skilled supervisor, or a you can say skilled engineer, or you can say engineer who is having all this knowledge regarding the specification, how the construction of a stone masonry is carried out. So that is necessary at the site. Okay, how the breaking of the joints is carried out, then how whether the all the joints are filled with the mortar or not, that check is kept. Then uh, uh, continuous, we cannot construct a wall up to a more than a height or 1 point or 1.5 meter. Okay, so that will may lead to the failure. Then whether all the stones are properly dressed or not, that is also seen. Whether the elevation, the stones which are used in the elevations are of same structure or texture or not, that is also seen. So in the stone masonry, when the ashlar masonry is there, so whether the joints which are present, the thickness of joint is similar everywhere or not, everything is seen. So specifications in the stone masonry, you also go through that in more detail. So that's all from this session. Thank you very much for joining the session.